What is up, folks? Hope you're doing well as usual, and welcome back for another Tank Academy. This will be brief and to the point. So there's a lot of guides coming out for all the new classes, and you'll hear the term activate late in the GCD or the second slot of your off global cooldown for damaging buffs such as No Mercy, Inner Release, anything that gives you a major damage up. What does that mean and why is it done? Let's have a look, shall we? So you see we spam heavy swing. You'll see that there's a little timer that goes all the way around the GCD before you get to the next GCD. Very obvious stuff. Now I want you to think of that in two halves. So if I were to split heavy swing right down the middle, it would be one side and then two side. So on the right side of this button, it'll be one, on the left side it'll be two. When we activate buffs such as in a release, we want to activate it in the second half of that GCD. This will give us more abilities in our buff window, equaling more damage. This counts for pretty much almost most classes, in all honesty. It counts for Gunbreaker's No Mercy. It allows you to get 5 fell cleaves in a release, and let's have a look at an example, shall we? So I'll do it wrong to start off with. So I'll do an early activation of inner release based off of heavy swing. So let's have a look. So 1, 2, 3, 4. See that? No chance of getting 5 in. That would equal different GCDs based on what skill you're using. So I missed the 5th fell cleave. For Gunbreaker, I believe it means you miss an extra burst strike, and there's a specific skill for each class where if you use an early activation, you will miss out on damage. And you can see as soon as I finished my GCD, I popped in a release, and that's what we refer to as an early activation, aka activating in the first half of your GCD. So if you double weave, you're activating 2 over GCDs based on each half. So if you've never done this before, if you're having trouble with it, imagine your ability that you're going to do it off. Sorry, that's my Garland Bell. Imagine your ability you're going to do it off, split it in half, and imagine each area as 1 and 2. So you want to aim for the second section when you're using buffs such as in a release. So when this comes off of cooldown, we will redo what we just did, except I will use a late activation of in a release, aka I will activate in a release in the second slot of the off global cooldown, and we'll see the difference. So as soon as this is done, we'll go and do it. Alright, let's do this then. So I attack and then watch me activate it as this is coming to the second half of heavy swing. See that? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see the difference? There's a big difference between the two. So using an early activation versus a late one for damaging buffs, you always want to go for the late one, at least for Warrior, Gunbreaker, Paladin, so on. Please do look at your class specific guides to see if this is mentioned, but in most it's been a thing for a long time. So if you're always wondering why you're missing that one GCD, or you're getting 4 fell cleaves, it's not because of your skill speed. Skill speed does help, but if you do a late activation, you can get it in on most skill speeds. Skill speed is a very subjective thing based on how comfortable you are with the GCD timer, but late activation is still a fundamental skill you need to have for every class. So yeah, as I said, counts for multiple classes. Imagine your button being split in half and activating it just before your GCD comes up. That way you'll get the most damage out of your buff windows. Hopefully this has helped you guys, and you can link it to your friends that are learning tanks and so on and so forth. But yeah, keeping it quick and to the point. I'm saving the visual guides for stuff that is more in depth. So maybe, you know, the Gunbreaker guide, for example. If we ever do a visual rendering of the Gunbreaker guide based on the research out there, that will be a big visual guide. But for now, this is straight to the point, and you should be able to get it. But with that being said, I'm out, guys, so have fun.